everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we're going to talk about siege battles because yes, there is a bit of a problem with them. I know that the player base is kind of conflicted on how it works. I, for one, love the settlement battles. I think that the mechanic is really cool, but definitely there are a few issues which this new mod, which has just recently come onto the workshop, really does fix, and this is known as real-time building. So we're going to jump right in and explain everything about it because this affects not only yourself, the player, but also the AI, and kind of brings the Total War siege battles more in line with, well, more of a traditional Total War game. So with that, as you can see, I've started a fresh new campaign as Frogrim Grudgebearer, as I wanted to just play around with the dwarfs a little bit, as it's been a while, and who better to test out a siege mod than the dwarfs? So the first thing that this does is that your buildings will not provide any defensive supplies per turn while under siege. Right now in the live build, there are a few bugs which are meaning that you're not getting the extra defensive supplies anyway. At least I've not noticed them through my many hours of creating content and streaming. However, what this does instead is it provides you with some flat supplies. So as you can see here with the defensive buildings, if you go for the first one, it'll give you plus 1,000. If you go for the third one, it will give you plus 3,000. And this will also be the case for your main settlement buildings, whether this is the main provincial capital or even a minor settlement, you'll get some defensive supplies as you start upgrading them. Obviously, the main provincial capitals will give more, whereas the minor ones will start to give less. But with this, you're basically able to know how many defensive supplies you have. So if you can remember how much your towers and how much your other stuff costs, then you'll be pretty good for the sieges. Plus, this also does mean that at the beginning of your sieges, yeah, you can get the stronger towers. But don't you worry, it's not as overpowered as you think. As you'll see in this example where I'm attacking a minor settlement belonging to the Greenskins, they'll have their towers instantly built up as soon as the battle starts. That's just like everything normal, right? Like you are deploying your deployables. But after the battle begins, the UI that is linked towards buying any new equipment, yeah, that's not there anymore. You can't buy new equipment. This means that both yourself and the AI will have to make do with what they have prior to be able to just have a normal battle. Yeah, this is kind of like Total War 3 Kingdoms or any other Total War games that had deployables. You place down your deployables wherever you can in the predetermined locations because that's still a thing. But other than that, yeah, you can't build up anymore. It's no more tower defense games. It's no longer just randomly seeing level 4 towers spout up in different locations. Mind you, for example, if you do attack a provincial capital which has all its buildings and it has a lot of defensive supplies, you can see stronger towers, but once you destroy those towers, they're gone. They are fully gone, and I think that's a really good thing as the system works. I like how the battles look, the settlements. Yes, there could be more of them, but they look fantastic. You can't tell me that you can't look at the, say, for example, the Tomb King ones and think, my god, those aren't stunning. But yeah, it's the tower defense issue which does cause a lot of problems. So with this battle, you can see I can move my dwarfs in, I can focus on taking out the towers. Obviously, it'll depend with what faction you play first, because sometimes you won't have range units. Keep in mind Khorne, you know, until you get the Hell Cannons. But yeah, I can just go in there, destroy the towers, or just capture the points. The points still remain, as obviously it's still something which works in morale as a real thing, because, you know, once you start looting parts of the city, your enemy will start losing morale, because, yeah, it's all pretty logical and it just makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it just feels a lot better. I've honestly been having a lot more fun with the sieges purely because of that. Now in this clip, I'm attacking another minor settlement, but it's actually fairly well built up. So the enemy does have a lot more defensive supplies, meaning that they do have stronger towers, which was a little bit of an issue with my gyro bomber, as I almost had that lost. But in general, it means that you don't have to focus on just so much stuff. They just built up their towers, which I can take out myself with my Quarrelers and obviously the Gyro Bomber. But it definitely feels a lot better, as it just gives you more of a traditional Total War feel. Like I've said before in the video, it's just deployables and go, and I feel like it's just so much more fun. It allows you to plan more. The AI will still be the AI, so they'll probably focus on stronger towers. Sometimes they will build up barricades, so it's pretty random and it depends on how many supplies they actually have. They're definitely trying to focus on what's more beneficial for them, And usually it's a damage output so they can try and repel you as quickly as possible, which, yeah, you know, fair enough, it makes sense. But we talked about aggressive, so let's talk about defensive. So here I have a settlement of dwarves. It's undefended, and it's fairly high up. I believe I got this to tier 2, most likely, with one of the defensive buildings, but it's nothing too great. What you can see is I have 2,500 supplies, which is quite a lot, but yeah, so I'm building up my towers, I want to get into a fight, I'm being attacked by Tretch Craventail, as, you know, diplomacy right now for Warhammer 3 is a little bit weird, so I do have a lot of factions just attacking me. And this is the area that borders to where Skarsnik was, which I left undefended as I was currently taking the Black Crag and I was taking Karak 8 Peaks, so that was my main focus as I know that that was a lot more money. So yeah, the battle by now has begun, and what you can see is that I'm not getting any supplies per turn. So I can't even build. The option is now fully gone. This is the same as the AI, so I've got to make do with what I have, and I have to make sure that hopefully my tower building was correct. I focused mostly on the cheaper towers as I wanted to be able to fire from all sides, knowing full well that I do have Skaven coming from all sides at me. And yeah, honestly, I'm much happier with this. I do have some battles which I unfortunately haven't recorded, but my experience overall, whether attacking or defending, was just much more enjoyable. I was honestly quite surprised, because when you take away the tower defense aspect, when you take away the randomly building up areas where there are no units, building up walls, it's just more immersive. You have to think a bit more, but yeah, it feels a lot more immersive. And battles can be harder for the player if you're not used to not building towers, but I'm a person who was actually forgetting building towers after the battle started in vanilla, so I was already used to the system, but what I did have was problems with the AI. The AI, when I would be attacking them, would build up loads of towers, and it would just be annoying. So with this, yeah, they're stuck with a certain amount of resources. So other than all the benefits, you need to know a few things. This doesn't change anything for survival battles, but I imagine that you guys aren't too interested in survival battles, as that's Realm of Chaos, and yeah, nobody's really doing that now. They're focused on Immortal Empires. The health and cost for the buildings are currently unchanged, and to be honest, they're perfectly fine. I don't think nothing really needs to be changed there. They're still fairly durable, but like, you're going to have a lot of archers, you're going to have a lot of artillery. Yeah, they're not going to be much of an issue. Plus, capturing the point will get them destroyed anyway. And due to how the AI works, the AI will not be spending every bit of resource that they have available, as the AI hasn't really been changed. So they won't be using everything at the beginning, and they won't be able to build as soon as the battle starts. This doesn't change anything else, but it's just there. This will probably give you more incentive to fight siege battles. This will actually make the siege battles a lot more fun. You can actually just enjoy the maps, as that's what I've been doing with this mod. I've been enjoying the maps. The maps look great, like I've said. They look really freaking cool. But there was just the issue of the tower defense, which just made it a bit of a slog. So yeah, the mod itself can be found in the description below. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. I really think this is going to make the battles a lot more bearable for you guys, whether attacking or defending.